Going? Alright, I'm going to teach you guys how to wrap hands for MMA fighters. Things you're going to need are scissors, tape. The tape should be a little thinner than this. It's pretty wide. Normally it's quite a bit thinner, but I accidentally got the wrong tape, so we're going to go with this. But really, you want it about half this size. Maybe a little over half, maybe 3/4 this size. So, and when I mean thick, it's too wide this way. It needs to be a little bit thinner this way, so, something like that. Because that, it's got to be about the same size as a wrap you're using, so about 2 inch, I'd say. Alright, hand me your hand. The roll should be a little bigger than this. This stuff's called stretch bandage, so it should be a little bit, the roll should be a little bigger, because these rolls are pretty small. But I bought as many rolls as I could. This is the same cheap shit that most of the promoters, these cheap promoters are using. They're not, it's just this stuff here. It's like, can you see this? Clear? Okay. It's just this stringy stuff when you stretch it. I don't know. It's cheap, but, you can get it at any specialty store. It's not just normal gauze. It's called stretch bandage, but it's a special type. But if you get anything similar to this, it'll work. But this is what these cheap promoters are using, so this is what you really want to wrap with. Get used to wrapping what you're going to be wrapping with at your fights. Alright, pull your sleeve up. Now you want to start off by making, I got a messed up shoulder, so it's going to take me a minute to do some things. You want to start off by measuring the end from the wrist through this finger here, the middle of the hand, hold this there, okay, and measure to here, measure to the other side of the wrist, okay, bang, right in here somewhere. It could be anywhere in here, it can be here, just make sure it's at least to here. So, let's say it's about there. Okay, so bam. That's good. Okay, now you can measure every one to this. So here we go. These wraps are going to be a little short, so you're going to have to put these together. This is just one way to wrap them. There's a million ways to wrap them, but this is the way that I like to wrap them for my fighters. But these, like I said, these are way too small. These are tiny. These are absolutely tiny. Now you want 6 of them. Okay, through 1, 2, and 3. The creases in your fingers is where these are going to go. So there's 1, 2, 3 slits, and then 1, 2, 3 slits out of the other hand.
Thumbs don't matter because they're going to poke out.
Right, the thumbs don't matter. Thumbs have no significance. Okay. Your fingers are going to be poking out too, but you don't go through the thumb. You wrap around the thumb. But okay. So normally you want to use 3 from each roll. Okay, so here's the first roll. Alright, you're going to get 2 rolls and you're going to get some tape from your promoter. So, and I'm doing this for all the amateurs and people who are really not, they really don't give them next to nothing. So, I know if you go to a really good organization, they probably give you better stuff, but this is what they give you for the local shit around here. But, alright, here. But you can measure up to these with the next roll, but you only get 2 rolls, so make sure you do it evenly, otherwise you're not going to have enough in one roll. I mean, these I don't have enough anyway, but you want to make sure that you have enough in each roll, because they're going to give you just enough to wrap your hands. They're not going to give you any more than you need. They're going to be pretty tight with you. Okay, so there's one. That one's a little long, but fuck it, it'll do. Alright. And a little long, there's nothing wrong with that. You just want to be careful because you don't want to use all of your hand wrap here. Me, I got a bunch here, so I'm not terribly worried about it right now. But, on fight night, I'm really careful about how much I'm using. I'm really tedious about it. I mean, it's nice to bring some of your own, too. That way, in case you do need a little extra, you'll have it. Let's see, look at this. I'm already running out. Okay, I'm already starting to run out of the hand wraps, which is nuts. Alright, there's your 6 for in between your fingers, okay? Now, you want to have your fighter spread his fingers a little bit, okay? And then you want to come around here. You can start this anywhere. You can start this on the top. Just make sure you have either you or your fighter hold this piece here, okay? You can get a nice tight wrap like this. Okay, go around. There's twice, okay? And there's 3 times, okay? And then you want to cut it here, okay. Just like so. This shit doesn't cut well with tape at all. But here, okay, and you just pull this off. Okay, you see this? This is going to end up laying across your knuckle. You want to make it a little loose, so that didn't come out a little loose, but it's alright. This is just going to be to lay across the knuckle like this, just so it gives your knuckle extra padding. Okay? So there's one, and you want to do this out of each roll because it's got to go on each hand. So, there's one, there's two, and three. Okay? And again, you cut it. Like I said, the promoter will give you way more than I'm using right now. These are just the rules that I had. Okay, so then bang. Okay, and again, these are just going to lay over the knuckles like this, just to give those knuckles a little extra protection. Okay, and we'll use the rest of this shit. You can start from the wrist. That's probably the best place to start because you need the most support here. But
you've already got.
That's where you need your most support, and you can also start where I start myself, which is right at the knuckles. I do that just to get this piece on. Okay, so you start here and you wrap, just like this. Now, a lot of people get really confused about this part of it. They say you can't have the hand wraps, or the gauze, as you would call it, or the stretch bandage over the knuckle, but that's not true. Okay, you can have it over the knuckle. You just can't have the tape over the knuckle. Okay, that's what you can't have over it. Okay, put a thumb there. Okay, and you want to get this tight. So you want to get a little tight knit here. Keep your finger spread a little bit. There you go. That way it gives you room to move your hand. Alright, here. And now, how tight you want it here depends on your fighter's comfort, okay? My fighter likes his tight, so, that's why I get him tight. But, like I said, the tightness here depends on your fighter's comfort. And you want to make sure you're getting an even amount around here. So you're wrapping it like this. You just want to make sure it's even. Okay, getting around the thumb, because you don't want to run out. And like I said, I got extra here, so it's not really that big a deal. Okay, hold that like that. I got extra, so I'm not worried about it. I got enough, but for the most part, you don't want to run out. And I know at those fights, it's very easy to run out. It's very, very easy to run out of hand wrap, and you don't want to do that. Hold this here. Because that would really stink, unless you're bringing extra with you, which I do recommend doing anyway. It's always best practice to have extra. It's really hard doing it with different rolls here. Never done this before with different rolls, so I'm learning at the same time. Now you come around the wrist. You see, you want to make sure that you just can't see the hand no more. You don't want to be able to see the skin. And you come around the wrist. Some fighters like you to go down the wrist a little bit.
Just gives you
right, it gives you extra protection for your wrist a little bit lower you go. But that's about as far as down as you want to go. Because like I said, you only have a limited amount of this stuff. So you want to make sure that you're having enough.
I just said 3 rolls.
Yeah, that's what I said. You get more than this.
What you can really get done with 1 roll.
Okay, right, and this at a normal fight, this would be about 1 roll. So now you want to tuck this stuff in. Okay, watch this little trick here. You tuck this in for the knuckle. Give your knuckle an extra little bump there. Okay, you see that? See how that bumped up and it's nice and clean cut? I like to do that. Okay, and you come around and around, and this will be the last one I use for this hand. Okay. Okay, hold your wrist out like this, and hold this here. No, you want to hold this. This. That way I can tape this off. Alright, and like I said, you normally have thinner tape than this, but this I accidentally grabbed the wrong tape. I couldn't see the tape outside the package. It came in a box. And you can buy this stuff, at a pharmacy. I'd say you can buy the hand wraps at any pharmacy, but they were tricky. I searched all over Rutland to find one. They're not easy to find at all. But the tape is pretty easy. It's any athletic tape. I mean, you want to get the thinner stuff just because it's a little better. But this is the same stuff they're using, just thicker. Just wider rolls. Okay, now here comes these. Now you take these, you stick your hand through these, right here, okay? Run them like this. Now you want to get just enough to tie this knot, so you don't want too much here. Just enough to slip through and tie the knot, because you're going to cut any extra anyway. Now it doesn't matter which way you pull it, because it's going to go over the fingers. Hold on. So it doesn't matter which way you knot it, you're going to have enough. It's stretchy enough where it doesn't matter which way you tie it. I mean, this way is best, right here, toward this way. What I mean by that here, I'll show you. It's like this. See how it's facing this way, where you could, like I had the last time, could be facing that way. You just knot it like that. Okay, get it nice and tight. Get that knot tight. You want to make sure that knot's tight. Okay, make sure that knot is nice and tight. This one. Do it again. And you just put it underneath. This is pretty easy right here. This is pretty simple to slide underneath. You can see this is what I meant about this way. See? It's not a big deal because it still wraps around the same way. You know, it's just a little extra room. So if you do this, you want to make sure it's a little longer. But there you go. And turn your wrist. Okay, this comes down. Hold on. This comes down like this. Now you want to give a little tight pull here. Right here, you want to put it tight and pinch here. Okay, give a nice little pull and pinch here. And I like mine to come together. Okay, now you hold that finger there, a little lower, because you're in it right there. Okay, now, because this tape's wider, it needs to go right at the base of the wrist. And then I cut this piece of tape, because all you're doing here is just using enough to secure, just enough to secure that thing in place. Okay, so, there you go. Perfect. You want to tape this right about at the wrist where you don't have any extra. Okay, so all this stuff you can cut right off. Not a big deal. You just make sure it's not longer than here because you don't really want tape on your arm. I mean, it's not terrible, but for the fighter, it's not the most comfortable thing in the world to have tape on his arm because when you got to cut these off, it sucks. Taking these off is no fun if you got tape on them. If you got tape on your skin. And these are not easy to take off anyway, let me tell you. These things go on really hard, and they're really hard to come off. Like, you can see, like, his hand's even changing a little color there. I don't know if it's because it's cold or what, but he always looks like that at the fights. It's normal. He likes it nice and tight, so. Okay. And as much tape as you want to use depends, again, on your fighter's comfort. Okay. Now, here, you can't have the tape over the knuckles. Okay, so this is as far as your tape can go, right there. That's it. No further than that. Okay, bang. And I like to make sure, he likes his hands heavy, so I really put the tape to him. He likes to throw bombs because he can't throw them without the tape.
Not a very hard hitter.
So, I get his hands nice and tight. Okay. But this is the common misconception with this stuff, is that the tape can't be, how's that? Tight?
Yeah, right here it's...
Yeah.
But I'm not going in a fight right now, so it don't really matter.
And if in a fight, you always listen to your fighter. So right now, this would be a little tight for him because of the tape, the way I put the tape on. And this tape's pretty big, so it's pretty heavy. Squeeze your knuckles. Okay. You know, you want that extra padding in here. So for the fighters that are saying, well, I don't want it taped over my knuckles. I don't want the gauze over my knuckles. Well, it's got to. It's there to protect your knuckles. It's here so your knuckles don't break. The ones who say they don't want it over the wrist, well, it's too bad. It's there so that their wrists don't break. It serves them that extra wrist and knuckle support. So this pad here on the knuckles is a good thing. You can't have the tape over it, but you absolutely can and should have the gauze over this. But the tape can only be before the knuckles. So you put it just before the knuckles, and that's as far as you can put this tape. That's it. So don't go over the knuckles with the tape, guys. Go over it with the gauze. And that's how you wrap hands for MMA.